All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address National Conference of Labour Ministers of all states and union territories today. Prime Minister to also address grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2022 this evening. Tripartite interministerial agreement signed for swift development of modern multi-modal logistics parks under Bharatmala project across the country. Government to launch e-passport in the next 6 months. CBI raids several RGD leaders in Railways land for job scam. More than 200 sale deeds recovered. National Conference to contest Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections alone. VVS Lakshman named Team India's interim head coach for Asia Cup 2022. And Indian shuttlers Aegis Pranoy and Lakshya Sen storm into the pre-quarterfinals of the men's singles event at BWF World Championships in Tokyo. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the National Conference of Labour Ministers of all states and union territories today via video conferencing. The two-day meet has been organized by the Union Labour and Employment Ministry at Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. The conference has been convened in the spirit of cooperative federalism to discuss various significant labour-related issues. It will help create further synergy amongst the centre and state governments in formulating better policies and ensuring effective implementation of schemes for the welfare of workers. The conference will have 4 thematic sessions. These include integrating e-Shram portal for onboarding social security schemes to universalize social protection and the Swasth Se Samriddhi for improving medical care through ESI hospitals. Framing of rules under 4 labour codes and vision Shramev Jayate at 2047 are the other 2 themes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the grand finale of the Smart India Hackathon 2022 through video conferencing this evening. The growing popularity of Smart India Hackathon can be gauged from the fact that the number of teams registered for the hackathon has seen a 4-fold growth in the ongoing 5th edition of Hackathon. It has grown from around 7,500 in the first edition to about 29,600 in the 5th edition. This year, more than 15,000 students and mentors are travelling to the 75 nodal centres to take part in the Smart India Hackathon 2022 Grand Finale. Our correspondent reports that students from over 2,900 schools and 2,200 higher education institutions will tackle 476 problem statements from across 53 union ministries in the finale. This include optical character recognition of temple inscriptions and translations in Devanagari scripts, Internet of Things, enable risk monitoring system in coal supply chain for perishable food items, high-resolution 3D model of terrain, infrastructure and roads conditions in disaster-struck areas.
A Smart India Hackathon was started in 2017. It has been the constant endeavor of the Prime Minister to promote a spirit of innovation in the country, especially among the youth. It is a nationwide initiative to provide students a platform to solve the pressing problems of society, organizations, and the government. The hackathon also aims to inculcate the culture of product innovation, problem solving, and out-of-the-box thinking among students. This year, a Smart India Hackathon Junior has also been introduced as a pilot for school students to build a culture of innovation and develop problem-solving attitude at the school level. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the central government is working on the target of at least 1 medical college in every district of the country. Inaugurating the Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre in Mohali yesterday, Mr. Modi said the Ayushman Bharat scheme under Health Infrastructure Mission is creating modern health facilities at the district level at the cost of 64,000 crore rupees. The Prime Minister said the number of AIIMS has gone up to 21 in the country.
आयुष्मान भारत हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिशन के तहत जिला स्तर पर आधुनिक स्वास्थ्य सुविधाएं बनाने पर 64,000 करोड़ रुपए खर्च किए जा रहे हैं। एक समय में देश में सिर्फ 7 एम्स हुआ करते थे। आज इनकी संख्या भी बढ़कर के 21 हो गई है। यहाँ पंजाब के बठिंडा में भी एम्स बेहतरीन सेवाएं दे रहा है।
The Prime Minister emphasized that it is important to build a hospital and it is equally important to have a sufficient number of good doctors and other paramedics as well. The Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari, Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarbanand Sonowal witnessed the signing of tripartite agreement for swift development of modern multi-modal logistics parks under Bharat Mala Pariyojana across the country. The objective of the agreement is to centralize freight consolidation and reduce logistics costs from 14% to less than 10% of GDP at par with international standards. The tripartite agreement was signed by the National Highways Logistics Management Limited, the Inland Waterways Authority of India and the Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gadkari said the agreement will provide seamless modal shift. Multimodal logistics parks will ensure that cargo is swapped or shifted from and to waterways, dedicated freight corridors and road transport. The multimodal logistics parks will be a freight handling facility with rail and road accessibility comprising of container and cargo terminals, warehouses, cold storage facilities for mechanized material handling and value-added services.
Electronic passports will be rolled out within the next 6 months. Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Osaf Saeed, informed this to the media in Hyderabad. He said an e-chip and a few more features will be added to the passport book, which will provide security upgradation of the Indian passport and enable machine reading. A team of officials led by the Secretary is visiting Hyderabad as part of Videsh Sampark outreach program.
We are in very advanced stage and we are hopeful that in the next 6 months there should be a rollout of that. This is a ICOA compliant passport which is security wise and highly upgraded to the security chip and others. So people will find it very useful so that impersonation and making fake copies would be very difficult for this.
Stating that the interests of the diaspora are important, Dr. Saeed said several steps have been taken to facilitate Indian citizens who are migrating to work in other countries and providing legal support. He said $87 billion have been remitted to India by diaspora last year compared to the $83 billion in the previous year. Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has called upon marine product exporters to prepare a development plan and aim for an export target of $20 billion in the next 5 years. He was addressing online the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Marine Products Export Development Authority in Kochi, Kerala last evening. Mr. Goyal urged exporters to prepare state-wise export development plans in consultation with coastal and northeast states to enhance quality production in the sector. He said the industry needs to identify 20 major seafood export markets which contribute over 90% to exports and study the potential they hold further. The minister said Indian marine export has reached $7.76 billion in 2022, which is 30% more compared to the previous year.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of the Prime Ministers of India who served the nation from 19th of March 1998 onwards.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of the Prime Ministers of India who served the nation from the 19th of March 1998 onwards.
Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the Prime Minister on the 16th of May 1996 and held the post till the 1st of June 1996. He was again elected as the Prime Minister on the 19th of March 1998 and served till May 22nd, 2004.
मैं अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा। मैं संघ के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धा पूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा तथा मैं भय या पक्षपात, अनुराग या द्वेष के बिना सभी प्रकार के लोगों के प्रति संविधान और विधि के अनुसार न्याय करूंगा।
Dr. Manmohan Singh was elected as the Prime Minister on the 22nd of May 2004 and served till the 26th of May 2014 for 2 terms.
I, Manmohan Singh, do swear in the name of God and by law established that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India. Communicate or reveal to any or such and job of my duty as Prime Minister.
Narendra Modi, the first ever Prime Minister to be born after independence, took oath on the 26th of May 2014 and served till May 2019.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा।
Mr. Modi was sworn in again as the Prime Minister on the 30th of May 2019 and continues to serve till date.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं भारत की प्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्ण रखूंगा। मैं संघ के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा।
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on Air official YouTube channel, News on Air app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune in to All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashwani ke saath. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address National Conference of Labour Ministers of all states and union territories today. Prime Minister to also address grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2022 this evening. Tripartite inter-ministerial agreement signed for swift development of modern multimodal logistics parks under Bharatmala project across the country. Government to launch e-passport in the next 6 months. CBI raised several RJD leaders in railways land for job scam. More than 200 sale deeds recovered. National conference to contest Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections alone. VVS Lakshman named Team India's interim head coach for Asia Cup 2022. And Indian shuttlers H.S. Pranoy and Lakshya Sen storm into pre-quarterfinals the men's singles event at BWF World Championships in Tokyo. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Northeast Diary program broadcast every Thursday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India. Northeast Diary this week, that is the 25th of August 2022, brings an exclusive interview with the Director General of Police of Mizoram, Devesh Chandra Srivastav, on the War on Drugs campaign taken up by the State Police in Mizoram. Looking forward to see you there.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग हेतु संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the morning news. The Central Bureau of Investigation has recovered over 200 sale deeds during raids at the premises of several RJD leaders in Bihar in connection with the IRCTC Land for Job scam involving former Railway Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav. In the FIR, only 5 sale deeds were mentioned, but now the CBI has come across 200 sale deeds. All these documents have been seized by the agency. The CBI has also recovered jewellery. Raids were conducted at residences of RJD MLC Sunil Singh, party leaders Ashfaq Karim, Fayaz Ahmed and Subodh Roy. In the probe, the CBI has learned that Lalu Yadav's wife Rabri Devi and daughter Hema Yadav were gifted land by job seekers who were later appointed in the railways. Ridyanand Chaudhary, a railway employee, and Bhola Yadav, the then OSD to the former railway minister Lalu Yadav, were earlier arrested by the CBI in connection with the scam. Bhola was Lalu Yadav's OSD between 2004 to 2009. The CBI has registered a case against Lalu Yadav, the then Union Railway Minister, his wife Rabri Devi, 2 daughters and 15 others, including unknown public servants and individuals. Enforcement Directorate has arrested Jharkhand mining scam accused Prem Prakash in money laundering case. ED had yesterday raided his home and office in Ranchi and recovered 2 AK-47 rifles and 60 live cartridges. Raids were also conducted on the premises of Prem Prakash's relatives in Jharkhand, Bihar, Tamil Nadu and Delhi NCR. Meanwhile, Jharkhand government has objected to news reports linking Chief Minister Hemant Soren's name to Prem Prakash. In a press statement, the state government warned media houses of legal action if Mr. Soren's name is linked to Prem Prakash. Ranchi police has claimed that 2 AK series weapons recovered during the ED raid were allotted to 2 Jharkhand police personnel who had kept them at the residence of Prem Prakash. Both police personnel have been suspended with immediate effect, Ranchi police claimed.
The National Conference has decided to contest Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections alone. It will not ally with any constituent of the People's Alliance for Gupka Declaration. The decision to this effect was taken by the NC's provincial committee members unanimously. The party said that it should contest all 90 assembly seats of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. The National Conference's statement suggests the People's Alliance for Gupka Declaration may be near its end. The PAGD, an amalgam of 5 parties, NC, PDP, Awami National Conference, CPIM and CPI, was formed after the nullification of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir after August 5, 2019. It was constituted to fight for the restoration of Article 370 of the Indian Constitution as it existed on August 4, 2019. Still with Jammu and Kashmir, a terrorist captured in Rajouri district over the weekend has revealed that he was part of a group tasked with carrying out a suicide mission in India. Tabarak Hussain was captured by the Indian Army on Sunday as he, along with 4 terrorists, tried to infiltrate the line of control. Hussain said he was sent to India on a suicide mission by Colonel Yunus of Pakistan Army. He is currently recuperating at the Army Hospital in Rajouri.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed the district administration of those districts to remain on alert where Yamuna and Betwa rivers flow. He asked officials to take all the necessary precautionary measures in view of the possible flood situation. Water level of the major rivers flowing in Bundelkhand region is continuously rising. Here is a report from a correspondent.
Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath held a special review meeting yesterday night. District magistrates of Agra, Firozabad, Etawah, Auraiya, Jalon, Hamirpur, Banda, Prayagraj, Mathura, Mirzapur and Jhansi districts are directed by Chief Minister to take all necessary precautionary measures. He said that opening of gates at Kota Barrage and water release from Dholpur in Rajasthan has resulted in increased water level of Yamuna River. Betwa River is also swollen after heavy rainfall in Madhya Pradesh. NDRF, SDRF, PAC flood platoon and crisis management teams should remain in active mode. He directed officials to keep the flood control room active 24/7. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Morning Matters, now let us listen to a discussion on expanding health infrastructure in India The participants are Dr. Raman R. Gangakhetkar, former head scientist of the Epidemiology and Communicable Diseases Division at the Indian Council of Medical Research, and Aditi Tandon, journalist.
The National Health Policy envisages total health for all and also expects that India will raise its health expenditure to 2.5% of the GDP by 2025. Dr. Gangakhetkar, we've seen that during COVID-19 pandemic, the government has gone well beyond its call of duty to ensure that everybody got vaccination, that there were indigenous vaccines, that the public health infrastructure was quickly ramped up, and as many lives could be saved were actually saved. You were at the center of the COVID pandemic response. How do you look at India's overall performance response during this very difficult period in the world history?
One thing which I would say is it was exemplary response for multiple reasons. One thing which we must remember, this was one disease which required multi-sectoral response. And to my mind, we have never given such coordinated response to any disease so far, especially in the shortest possible span of time. You talk of 2.5% as the budget, which we have exceeded today when it came to COVID. We must also remember that this is 1 in 100 years phenomenon. And the emergency demanded rapid action on different fronts. And that was the main reason why we had to perhaps spend little more than that. We had to ensure that we have response related to vaccine development and provision of vaccines. In terms of mortality, the statistics tends to tell you that our mortality rates were far lesser compared to rest of the country. And we have also done very well on different fronts, and that's the reason why I think that our performance has perhaps been the best in the world.
Dr. Gangakhetkar, the other three pillars apart from Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission are Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, and Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. So on these different fronts, not only creating a public health infrastructure and being ready for any future pandemics, the government is also trying to put in place a digital health mission. Plus, you will be happy to note that transgender persons will also now get benefits of 5 lakh free hospitalization under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The government has signed an MOU with the National Health Authority.
This is a very important development. To my mind, one thing which we have understood in COVID is how digital health programs, whether it was capturing the people who were getting vaccinated, people who had adverse events because of vaccine, people getting certificates right at the time when they got vaccines, it was all possible through digital health mission per se. Now, one thing which we have to understand is you will find that over a period of time, the digital health mission will play a key role in a country where the penetration of internet, the penetration of mobile phones has increased dramatically, and it will perhaps keep on increasing over a period of time. With respect to what you talked about the transgender community per se, I think this was a long-standing demand, and the government has taken a very progressive step that their health will be taken care of through our own public health programming.
Prime Minister is in Punjab and Haryana, Dr. Gangakhetkar, and he has inaugurated a very important health facility, the state-of-the-art Amrita Hospital at Faridabad, where he also said that India did not face any kind of vaccine hesitancy as other countries saw during the COVID time because of the message from spiritual leaders and also because of the government's outreach to the people. Right now, booster dose and precaution dose is being provided free of cost at all government health facilities. How do you see the flow and low uptake of precaution doses in the country, and what is your message to the people?
I fully agree the statement that our Honorable Prime Minister, that we perhaps faced the least amount of vaccine hesitancy. This was mainly possible because of community mobilization that was done firstly through Prime Minister's messages itself. Now, if you recall, Prime Minister used to come out with a different slogan every time when he was trying to support the program for adult vaccination, which was never done in India. It was also ably supported not only by the community but also community leaders. So community mobilization was a critical issue which was handled by people at this juncture effectively. I think it is time that every vulnerable person, those at least who are more than 60 years of age, those who have chronic morbidity, should prioritize their life, reduce the risk of hospitalization and death by taking one jab which is required for booster, because it is your action which will safeguard your family's morbidity that they are likely to face with the transmissions that could occur or hospitalizations that could occur.
Dr. Ganga Khetkar, thank you so much for your time.
You were listening to a discussion on expanding health infrastructure in India. The participants were Dr. Raman R. Ganga Khetkar, former head scientist, epidemiology and communicable diseases, division at ICMR, and Aditi Tandon, journalist.
VVS Lakshman has been named Team India's interim head coach for the 2022 Asia Cup. Lakshman, who is the chief of the National Cricket Academy, has joined Team India as its interim head coach in Dubai for the 2022 Asia Cup. The move comes a day after the BCCI confirmed that Rahul Dravid, India's head coach, did not travel with the team after testing positive for COVID-19. In the BWF World Championships, Indian shuttlers H.S. Pranoy and Lakshya Sen stormed into the men's singles pre-quarterfinals in Tokyo yesterday. They will face each other in the round of 16. Unseeded Pranoy stunned second seed Kento Momota to record a straight sets win. Reigning Commonwealth Games champion Lakshya Sen beat Spain's Luis Penalver.
In Duran Cup, the match between ATK Mohun Bagan versus Mumbai City ended in a draw at the Salt Lake Stadium in Kolkata. Both teams scored 1 goal each. Another match between the Army Red and Neroka FC also ended in a draw at the Kumam Lampak Stadium in Imphal, as no team could score any goal. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Maximum temperature will be nearly 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 26 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. Maximum temperature is expected to be 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The maximum temperature is likely to be 34 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have thunderstorm with rain. Jammu will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Leh and Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Hyderabad will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Bangalore will have generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Visakhapatnam will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Guwahati, Aizawl, Itanagar, Kohima and Imphal will have partly cloudy sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Affordable Holistic Healthcare Centre's priority, says Modi, writes the Pioneer. One Nation, One Fertilizer scheme rolled out, informs the Business Standard. Business Line quotes Supreme Court telling the centre, why not call all-party meeting on freebies? Property tax in Delhi may go up. Public feedback sought on plan, informs the Hindustan Times. INS Vikrant ready to make waves on September 2nd, reports the Times of India. Reserve Bank of India lifts curbs on American Express, notes Financial Express. Airfares to drop ahead of festival season, states the Business Line. And finally, UPSC starts one-time registration facility for aspirants. Well, the statesman report that this is aimed to facilitate the process of submission of applications by the aspirants for the UPSC examinations. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address National Conference of Labour Ministers of all states and union territories today. Prime Minister to also address grand finale of Smart India Hackathon 2022 this evening. Tripartite interministerial agreement signed for swift development of modern multi-modal logistics parks under Bharatmala project across the country. Government to launch e-passport in the next 6 months. CBI raids several RGD leaders in Railways land for job scam. More than 200 sale deeds recovered. National Conference to contest Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections alone. VVS Lakshman named Team India's interim head coach for Asia Cup 2022. And Indian shuttlers H.S. Pranoy and Lakshya Sen storm into the pre-quarterfinals of the men's singles event at BWF World Championships in Tokyo. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website
www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.